Today, I want to talk about the power of self-transformation and how we can achieve extraordinary things by changing our mindset and taking small, courageous steps towards our goals. Throughout my life, I've often drawn lines that separated what I could do from what I couldn't, what was possible from what was impossible. For a long time, I viewed reality as prepackaged, like a factory product. It took me years to realize that instead of envying others, I needed to ask myself, how can I achieve that? By reverse engineering the outcomes I desired, I discovered that everything I wanted was available and real. Just because we aren't built like those flying machines doesn't mean we can't join their ranks. Instead of building walls around our dreams, we need to give ourselves permission to adapt and evolve. I learned this from a friend who, despite humble beginnings and numerous challenges, achieved great success through persistence and learning. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is to create a low barrier to entry. This means starting with what we have and reducing friction in the process. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, begin now. Surround yourself with people who keep you grounded and remind you to take action. Winning is about going and evolving, not overcomplicating the start. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. By starting with what you have, you immerse yourself in the process, learn what works, and grow. This approach has helped me in various projects, reminding me that the most powerful thing we can do is to have a general sense of direction and go now. Another critical concept is understanding sunk costs. Just because we've invested time and resources into something doesn't mean we have to stick with it if it's not working. Recognizing that we can move on from past decisions and focus on what matters now is essential for growth. Life teaches us through our mistakes and misfortunes. Each misstep provides valuable lessons and helps shape our understanding of what we truly want. Embrace these experiences, for they are integral to our growth and self-identity. Courage takes many forms. Sometimes it's slaying the dragon, other times, it's simply picking up the sword. Life's challenges require different kinds of courage at different times. We must understand and appreciate the courage it takes to make small, significant changes in our lives. We are all a few decisions away from a breakthrough or a setback. This fine line empowers us to understand that during tough times, a few good decisions can turn things around. In good times, it reminds us to stay humble and not take things for granted. This episode is going to take a slightly different turn, perhaps a bit more profound than usual. I want to discuss the immense power of reaching out, how simply being present for someone can make an unimaginable difference. We often think that making a monumental impact requires grand gestures, but sometimes that's simply not the case. Sometimes, it's just about showing up and letting someone know, hey, I'm in your corner. I've been reflecting on this a lot recently because, over the past couple of weeks, two people I went to high school with passed away. They were young men in their mid-30s, gone too soon. Sadly, they are among many from my high school who have either overdosed or taken their own lives. It's an epidemic, and I know it's widespread, but it's particularly striking among young men. They're feeling isolated, lost, and depressed, a situation exacerbated by the pandemic. This issue is complex. We can point to numerous factors. The way we connect now doesn't truly make us feel connected. Our brains can't be fooled into thinking that online followers are the same as friends grilling steaks with us in the backyard. It's different. But it's not just about isolation. There's a crisis of meaning, of purpose, of feeling like we belong to something. There's a societal void, and there's no denying that. In my little corner of the universe, I often talk about the process of growing a business, of building a brand. Many of you are on similar journeys, experiencing the highs and lows, the ups and downs. I have live conversations about it, and I can tell you that nothing was as challenging as the loneliness of trudging through it all. It wasn't rejection or failure, not even being humbled by life or being broke. It was the haunting feeling of solitude. You could argue that some of it was self-induced. I was focused, and my social life took a back seat. But regardless, it was very real. What was worth gold were the texts from family saying, "Hey, I watched your video. Great work, or a friend like Zach calling out of the blue to say, this will be worth it. You're onto something. Don't you dare stop. When you're deep in the battle, that's not a small thing. That's everything. It validated my reason to get up when things were tough. One message. Let's be real, my struggle wasn't catastrophic. I was in a relatively fortunate situation. But imagine those who are really fighting, battling their demons. I'm reminded of those people from my past who decided that the pain of being here was too much. We can help. We're not magical, and there's no single cure for a complex issue, but we all have the power to take 30 seconds to send a message that says, I love you, or I see how hard you're working, or keep pushing because your effort matters. Such simple acts can give someone hope. That kind of gesture is life-changing. It costs us nothing but can mean everything on the other end. Some of the responses I get from my newsletter remind me that we don't know what people are fighting for. We don't know what demons they are living with when we walk past them on the street. If we can be the ones to offer a bit more compassion, to be a source of hope and reassurance, think about how incredible that is. For those of you going through tough times, thinking, I would love to spread that message, but my own glass feels empty right now, know this, you are not alone. Many of us are fighting our own battles. Life is hard, that's the challenge, but it's also the beauty. You will reach a point where you look back on the storm of right now and smile because you made it out. You're different now, better equipped, stronger. That's not a possibility, it's an inevitability. Winston Churchill famously said, if you're going through hell, keep going, because you're strong enough, and what awaits will be worth every second of the journey. We can't see that in the middle, can't understand it in the thick of it, but that's why we need to remind others, and why I'm reminding you. Life is beautiful, but beauty can't exist without its inverse. We endure chaos to appreciate calm, valleys of despair to experience the rush of climbing out. This duality, while not always fun, is liberating once we appreciate it. So keep going, keep trusting, keep pushing through. Hope is the greatest gift one can give. Spread it to those around you and let it transform into strength in your own world. It matters more than you know. It's easy to look back and think about all the things you could have done differently. As we get older, we gain wisdom, and time provides this beautiful gift of clarity. We realize that a lot of our hesitation was unwarranted, a lot of our decisions or indecisions were fear-based. Knowing that, it's easy to look over your shoulder and feel like you could have lived a different life or taken a different path. But the reality is, everything you've done has brought you to this moment. When you dwell on the past, the should-haves, and the could-haves, you diminish the power of the present. In conclusion, self-transformation is about erasing the lines we've drawn, starting with what we have, and embracing the courage to change. Remember, life is a game of those who will and those who won't. So, choose to be among those who take action and transform their lives. Thank you.